All right, good evening, everyone. It is Monday, March 27th, 2023. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here. Monday evenings, Mr. Big Marcel. We're going to be recapping UFC San Antonio, Marcel. And there's no UFC card this weekend, Marcel, but I figure we'll talk about Bellator and PFL briefly. After this podcast, we'll do a short one on some fight announcements. And yeah, but we're not going to do the full 2 hours today. We don't need to, I don't think.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into it, Marcel. We got a comment here. We got Glenn in the chat as always. Our friend Glenn, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, Glenn. Yeah, Marcel. Just before I get into it, how's everything? You have a good weekend overall, or?
Yeah, I have a good week, and I had a good laugh with you earlier today when we saw a certain clip pop up, which we discussed on this podcast. So we actually should show it on the podcast, but we'll do it maybe on the second podcast.
I don't know if the audio can go through. I'm not sure if it does. Like I know the
Also
video
no
does,
idea.
but is the audio? I'm not sure. Because I know you can share the screen. Anyways, it's funny. All right, let's get into it, Marcel. Let's start recapping the card from Saturday night, UFC San Antonio. So I gotta be honest, Marcel, the night didn't start great for our picks. Like there was a lot of upsets in the first couple fights. So I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be a tough night. But the main card, I mean, I pretty much nailed it. I think you did too. So overall, like kind of a 50-50 night, I guess. But the good thing was, Marcel, I kind of targeted those top couple fights, and they went the way I wanted. Although one of these judges, tried to screw us over, Marcel, and if the second one did, that would have been bad. So let's get into it. Start with the main event. Cory Sandhagen defeats Marlon Vera by split decision. It just feels weird to say a split when it should have been unanimous. Like
yes.
This is complete bullshit. We'll get into the judging. Actually, we might as well start with the judging, and we'll talk about his performance because I thought he looked phenomenal. Obviously, Sandhagen. The judging is fucking garbage. I mean, this is ridiculous, Marcel.
Yeah.
48-47 for Cheeto that's a fucking travesty. I mean, some people are saying it's the worst scorecard of all time. It's up there. I mean, I think it is up there. I just don't know how you can watch that fight and say Marlon Vera won that fight. Like, I understand it's round by round scoring, but these rounds weren't that close. That's the thing. Like, Cory clearly won the fight. He won at least 4 rounds. I thought the third round, Marcel, you could have given it to Marlon. And actually, I watched Cory's press conference. He said the same thing. Cory is such a smart guy, right? He's so smart. I was listening to him talk. He's saying, like, during the fight, he's keeping in his mind, like, what, am I doing more damage? Am I getting more takedowns? Am I, do I have the control, but do I have the damage too? And he thought he was leading ahead in all those categories, right? So clearly he was winning the fight. He thought the only round was competitive was the third round, really. And I saw some people say the fifth round, maybe, but for me, I'm not sure. Either way, Marcel, like, there's at least 4 rounds, if not 5, for Cory, and he clearly won the fight. To give that fight to Marlon is a disgrace. And when this kind of thing happens, Marcel, like, it does make you think, like, is this guy on the take? Like, did someone pay him off or something? Because it just doesn't make sense that the judge would go the other way. It just doesn't make sense for this fight. There's just no way you can defend it. And I would love to see some of these judging apologists come out and say, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, there was no knockdowns. And that's why it's a close fight. Like, no, it's not close. It's really not, Marcel. It's not a close fight. Cory Sandhagen should have won a unanimous decision. If Cory got robbed, it would have been one of the biggest robberies of all time, if not the biggest, I think, because he clearly won the fight. He looked amazing in this fight. Grappling looked phenomenal. The striking looked great. I mean, Marcel, he beat him everywhere. This fight was not competitive. Cheeto didn't look good. And again, the problem with Cheeto, man, like, you can't give up the first 2 rounds in every fight. You can't do this, Marcel. Like, you can get away with that, Marcel, when you're fighting Frankie Edgar and Dominic Cruz who are like almost 40 years old, okay? You can knock them out later. But a guy like Cory, who's like in the prime of his career, who's an amazing fighter, who has no issues as far as like his chin goes and durability, that'll never win you a fight. So I know Jason Perillo was screaming at him, Marcel, like, what are you doing? Get going, get going. What are you waiting for? He just couldn't get going. So for me, it was a really bad performance by Cheeto, but I thought Cory looked phenomenal. And now you're calling him Marab. Anyways, there's a lot to talk about, but I want you to talk about the judging because I know you didn't like it either.
Yeah, I think we pretty much called it on the podcast last week how it would be going probably. Yeah, man, the judges. So the judge who scored 48-47 was Joel Ujeda or something. He's like the bearded, known as the bearded ref.
He's a ref too.
Yeah, he's referee most for Fury. I think for Fury. So I know for a friend of mine told me, like, after, how do you say that? After the fight, somebody shared a social media on a topology forum, and he immediately closed his his Instagram account or set it on private so nobody could message him. Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, you can only score this fight for Cheeto Vera 3, 4, and 5. when you're a Cheeto Vera fan, in my opinion, and you do completely ignore Cory Sandhagen, what he did in those 3 rounds, because 1 and 2 were impossible to score for Cheeto because Sandhagen was clearly winning those. 2, 3, 4, and 5, Sandhagen wasn't as dominant as 1 and 2, but he still won those rounds, in my opinion, So it's a really bad scorecard. What can you say about it? I mean, I think Cory did an amazing job. I think he mixed in the takedowns good. His stand-up was really crisp. Like we said, man, on the show last time, Cory has never been finished by TKO or KO, only one time with a submission by Aljo. So dude is super durable. He has a good chin. And also take in mind that the fight against Piotr Jan was on short notice he took back then in Abu Dhabi. And it was a close fight. He lost the fight. I had a 4-1 or 3-2, but I think it was a good fight. And the TJ fight, he won, in my opinion. So I think many people were on Vera here because of the more exciting finishes he had as of lately,
The knockouts.
But, yeah, exactly. But stylistically, this wasn't a good matchup for him, and it showed, And Cory, man, so much respect. He said after the fight, like, I don't feel slimy. I would feel slimy if I try to jump over Merab and ask a title shot. So let me fight Merab for the #1 contender spot. And I think it's perfect, I mean, he could have called out Sean O'Malley, but I don't think Sean takes a fight unless it's a title fight right now. So I think it's perfect. Merab's not going to fight Aljo. We don't know what happens in Aljo against Cejudo, So for Sandhagen to call up Merab, it's perfect. And that's it.
He's so funny. I thought the call it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
he goes like, "This is gonna be really cringe," and it fucking was. He goes like, "What does he say?" Merab, I know you're hungry, and I got something to eat, and it don't taste good.
Yeah, so weird. But I love Merab's reaction as well. Normally, when fighters get called out, they're kind of like mean mugging. It's like, yeah, come on. And Merab was like super happy, like finally somebody calls
I saw
me
that
out.
too. I also saw Merab. There's a video. I think our boy Georgie posted of him climbing a fence, and like some guy was heckling him in the crowd. Right? He's like, "You can fight Aljo." And he's like, he's gonna fight him or something, bro.
You saw how quick he was.
Well, he jumped up that fence really fast. Like, that was pretty crazy.
The dude that was scared as fuck.
That dude moved quickly. He shit his pants for sure. He's like, oh shit. Like, anyways, one thing I wanted to mention, Joel Ojeda guy, the ref, right?
Yeah.
Or the judge, he's a ref too, like you mentioned. Looking at MMA decisions, Marcel, he's only been judging fights since last year, and he only has 4 fights like that have went to decision that are credited to him, right? Of course, he has, I think, judged in Fury maybe, and maybe like Legacy when it was there. I'm not sure, but I think when you only have 4 UFC fights judged, I don't think you're ready for a main event. Like, it's too important. You need a more experienced judge. Now, having said that, Marcel, I mean, Chris Lee and Sal D'Amato, I mean, they're not the best judges, but they did a good job in this fight. And to be fair, I got it. We always shit these guys. I do feel like these two, especially, have been doing better this year. Sal D'Amato, Chris Lee. Believe it or not, right? You've been shitting on these guys for years, but I feel like they've gotten better as judges, which is good, which is a good thing. So we gotta give them a little bit of credit because like their split decisions aren't as egregious as they used to be. I would say, Marcel. Remember, like Sal D'Amato. I mean, he's judged so many fights. Like some of the decisions he's had, like last year, were very controversial. Or not last year, but like in the past year, I should say. I think he's done a good job. Same with Chris Lee, because I remember after that Paul Felder RDA scorecard, like that guy, no one like trusting his scorecards. And I think he's turned it around, Marcel. I want to give him a little bit of credit, So
what was it? Sal D'Amato or Chris scored contest 48-47 Felder. Still crazy.
Still the worst. That was in 2020. Yeah, 2020. 3 years ago. People can get better.
Of course.
Right? And he's actually done a good job. I got to give him a lot of credit. So just wanted to mention that, Marcel.
Man, it sucks so much that we have to listen, and we have to, but we have to talk every week about judging, man. I mean, it's just stupid, Yeah. I mean, how can a classified and qualified judge score a fight completely different than that we do at home? And it's like, we're not specialists or anything, but it's so clear cut sometimes.
I mean, I think we are. I think we would do just as good of a job, if not better. Than
I think we would.
I think 100%. I mean, I'm not even saying I think. I know for a fact that hey, we would definitely get some decisions that people would be like, hey, like,
for sure.
Like that's just part of it, right? But it's like every week though, that's the problem. Like when you're having them bad cards every week.
You know what's annoying? For example, like Ryan Frederick. He always tweets out his scorecard, And he got shit on by fans, man. That's like, I understand that, It's like, why do you get people so upset? He also said something about
He's not a real judge, though. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just his opinion. Like,
yeah, of course.
When they put those media scorecards on the tweets and stuff, like, it's just to give like some context, I guess, to like seeing what the media, like people that are in the know think. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be what the judges think, though, right?
The most funny thing when Michael Bisping said, "Yeah, he scored. The media guy scored, but that doesn't mean shit." I was like, "Yeah, your scoring doesn't mean."
I thought you were going to say when I had that fight with Curtis and Vera, 1919, and Bisping was like, "Oh yeah, Adam Martin has it tied." He's like, "I don't know who that is." I was like, "Thanks."
The fella said about me, I agree with that guy.
I love it. That was so funny. It was like that's like my 50 minutes of fame. Well, not 50 minutes, more 15 seconds, but yeah. Let's get okay. Well, let me get some comments in a sec. I just want to talk about Merab and Cory quickly. Yeah. I mean, the fight makes so much. I love that Cory called him out. Marcel, who wants to fight Merab? No one. Like, let's be honest. No one wants to fight him. He's like Cory said, he's the hardest fight in the division right now, besides Aljamain. I'd argue, Marcel, he's even harder fight, like potentially. Like Merab is a very, very difficult fighter to even take a round off of these days, right? So I think it's a great fight. I mean, I would favor Merab. I think you have to, Marcel, just because like he's looked unstoppable, And I'm kind of tired of like doubting him, I guess. But I mean, he's an amazing fighter. I think he would absolutely have a chance to win the fight. Like he did say that he's injured right now. He has like I think his elbow or something is injured, and he said he might need surgery, so he's going to be out for a little bit. But the thing is, like, Merab wasn't going to be fighting anytime soon, I don't think. Although, again, it depends, right? Because just say Cejudo wins the belt against Sterling. I don't know if Sterling gets an immediate rematch. He's only defended it twice. I don't know if that's enough for a rematch immediately. I don't think so. So I think that Merab could get it, next in line potentially. I know O'Malley's there too. I get that, right? Yeah. That's the thing, like, but I feel like Merab deserves it more than Sean.
I agree.
I mean, I think most people would agree with us, Marcel. It's just that Sean's a moneymaker, right, for the UFC. But I mean, if you ask most fans or media, like, who's the number one contender? Besides Cejudo, wouldn't they say Merab? I would think so, right?
I still think it's stupid that Cejudo got the title shot at all. So,
it's kind of screwing the division up now, isn't it? Yeah. Because you could have had O'Malley fight Sterling next month, right, Marcel? Instead, you had a guy that came out of 3 or 4 year retirement, just be like, I want a title shot. I'm coming back for my belt. I like Cejudo. He's a great fighter. To be honest with you, Marcel, that is a very interesting fight. We'll talk about that. It's still March. Okay, so May. I guess it's in a month. I just kind of forgetting when it is. We'll talk about that later, but like it's an interesting fight. Anyways, let me get to some comments here, guys, from you guys. Sure. Glenn, UFC shouldn't be going back to Texas, complete shit show. I swear to God, we say this every time. We said this when John Jones and Dominic Reyes, that card. There was like a bunch of splits on that. Remember that? Like it was Andre Ewell and Jonathan Martinez. That was a bad decision.
Yeah, Giles against Cross.
Yeah, that one. I think Andrea Lee also had a decision against, was it Lauren Murphy maybe? Or Roxanne Modafferi, one of them two. And I think that was controversial too. Let me get some comments. Marcus said he made some money. Yeah, good job, Marcus. I know you bet on Cory.
Yeah, I saw that.
Being a ref and judge are completely different jobs shooting mix. I agree too. I mean, I get it. Like there are, smaller commissions where it's kind of not possible, but in a state like Texas, come on. I mean, there's no need that these guys should be doing both. Big Dan shouldn't be judging fights either. I don't think we'll talk about him in a second, but I think that was last week, right?
Yeah, Jason Herzog and Jacob Montalvo did all two, judging and reffing.
Herzog did judging too on this.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. Okay. Well, I mean, I just feel I know they do it in Texas. I do know that, but I don't like it. I just feel like there are different jobs. I'm not saying you can't do both like separately on a different night, but I just feel like it changes your perspective so much. What are you gonna say?
I got to tell you, man. Here in the Netherlands, we had a show, and like the ref was in the co-main event. He was the ref, and in the main event, he was the cornerman of one of the guys.
That's sketchy. Get some more comments. What do you think the odds would be from around Sandhagen? Are they out yet, Marcus? Let me check. Maybe they're out. I didn't even look at. No, okay, I don't see them. I mean, I think you'd have to favor Merab. I would imagine, right? Like,
I agree.
Not by a lot, but I would imagine like maybe minus 200, maybe a little bit less. Does that seem right, or what do you think? Is it too high?
Yeah, I agree with. No, I agree with you.
I would say it's about like accurate, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, there will be some comeback action on Cory after this performance because his wrestling looked good. That's what's surprising Marcel. He didn't just outstrike Cheeto. Marcel, he dominated him with the ground game too. And he's moving into side control, getting good positions. He looked great. A couple more comments. We got our boy Crazy Pato here. Cheeto looked terrible. Even worse, he went aggressive in the last seconds of the fight. It just made no sense. His performance was very bizarre. Very poor performance by Cheeto. I mean, again, I don't want to take away from Cory because he looked great, but you got to look at it both ways. Like, there's fights where, a guy looks great and the other guy looks pretty good. This fight was just a guy that looked great and the other guy looked bad, in my opinion. What's up, Antoine? I know what happened, but this fight makes me want O'Malley Sandhagen. I mean, it'd be a great fight, but it looks like O'Malley's probably next month for the belt. What's up, Knox? How's it going, man? Glad to have you. Gorilla, what's going on, man? Thanks again for the artwork. Appreciate it. Dan Marie was the judge of Barber Lee. That's right. That's what it was. Okay, we're going to talk about it in a second.
By the way, the UFC not going to let Sean O'Malley strand right in front of the finish, right before they finally got him in that spot where they want him. You know what I mean?
They wanted him to get that belt. They're going to, or not belt, but the title shot at least.
They just wanted to have Cejudo back. And on the roster probably, and that's why they gave him the title shot, because I think if they got him back and it's like you got to do a contender fight, maybe he doesn't come back, so they gave him a title shot. And now
those fights are tough for him, man. I got to be honest, like these elite grapplers, like that is tough. We'll see him get tested in the grappling.
But that's the thing, man, with O'Malley. We should be honest, man. I don't think he beat Piotr Jan,
it was pretty close, but probably not.
He jumped from like number 12 to number 1.
Yeah, the other thing was, how the fuck did Marlon Vera get ranked at butt of Cory heading into this fight? I was like, he beats Dominic Cruz and gets ranked 3. How does that make sense? Tell me how that makes sense.
I think Cory after Sterling, after the Dillashaw fight and the Yana Dillashaw, he went a little bit down.
Why? Like, he should have beaten Dillashaw arguably, and then John was pretty. It wasn't a blow; it was competitive. Like,
I agree.
And he beats Song and he beats Vera. I don't know. And he's the one who beat Frankie too before him. I mean, I get Cruz is a good win, but I just don't think it. I feel like I like Cheeto. He's a good fighter, but I feel like he was a little bit overrated coming into this fight. People were talking about this guy as like the next, title contender. But like, again, Marcel, you're beating guys that are at the end of their careers. It's a bit different than Cory's fighting. Song Yadong, I think, is like 23 years old or something. Like he's 24. He's super young, right? 25. All right. We're good with the main event, I think. Last comment here. Sterling has size advantage. Will probably be a lot bigger than Cejudo. I've seen people talk about that. Yeah. And Sterling might move to 145, right? We've heard that. All right. I mean, I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this fight. Holm defeats Yana Santos. I mean, listen, she looked good. Like, her ground game, again, looked good. And we've seen that before. When she fought Megan Anderson, she did the same thing. Just took her down, held her. Like, everyone talks about Holm striking. It's great, right? But her ground game is actually really good, too. And Dana White also said that we'll talk about the Hall of Fame, I guess, later on with Cerrone, but like Dana said that Holly Holm's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day too. So
I agree.
That makes sense. I mean, right now the only woman in the Hall of Fame is Ronda, and I saw people bitching about that, Marcel, the other day. They're like, this is like a very gender, like basically sexist Hall of Fame. And I'm like,
shut up.
But who else are going to put in there? Like, they're not retired yet. Like, I don't think they put in active fighters. They put them in when they're retired. So like, Ronda's in. Misha Tate's going to go in. Holly Holm's going to go in. Amanda Nunes will go in. Valentina's going to go in.
Better put Cyborg in.
Probably Rose. I would say Cyborg, but the UFC hates her. So
I know.
Probably not. But even though she obviously deserves it, she's the number one, arguably fighter. And maybe her and Nunes, I guess you could, pick either one. But anyways, there's probably I just named like 5 or 6 women, right, that are going to go in the Hall of Fame one day. Andrade, she'll probably be in there one day too. That's the other thing. Like, well, she's a champ too, but like, with the Cerrone thing, I don't know if we should talk about it now or you want to talk about it later. Do you want to talk about it quickly now? You want to talk about it now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
okay, let's talk about Cerrone quickly. I mean, how do you argue he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? He is one of the best fighters ever as far as excitement goes. And that's what the sport's all about. It's about entertainment. He didn't win a belt, but I don't think that matters. It doesn't matter at all. He holds numerous UFC records. He's second all time in wins. He's tied with Oliveira for most bonuses, 18, I think it was. Most knockdowns. Second most submission wins, I believe. Most finishes. Fought anyone, anytime. And now people are trying to discredit Cerrone's career. It's disgusting, Marcel. It's fucking sick. I don't know if you saw it. Like, listen, I like Jonathan Snowden. He is actually a very good writer. He writes for Bloody Elbow. I didn't agree with his article. I don't know if you saw it on Bloody Elbow, the new Bloody Elbow. He basically said, like, Cerrone shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And I just think I don't agree with that. I mean, at least, though, I'll give John credit. At least he wrote an article and, like, outlined why he didn't feel like he should. There's a lot of fans on Twitter, including fans that I really respect, Marcel. Like our boy Caposa, love Caposa, right? One of the most knowledgeable guys. Was shocked when he's like, "Are you kidding me? They're putting Cerrone in the Hall of Fame." Like I was like, "Dude, are you kidding me? He's second all time in wins." Like, what else do you need to do, Marcel? Just because you're not a champion doesn't mean you're not in. Like again,
like
hold on quickly, Marcel. Like in the NBA, Charles Barkley's one of the best. You know Charles Barkley for Space Jam.
Of course.
He never won a title, Marcel, and he's one of the greatest players. You're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame. You're not going to put like Karl Malone and John Stockton in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, Steve Nash. I don't think he won a title either, right? So to me, it's like just because they didn't win a belt doesn't mean they should be excluded. And as time goes on, Marcel, you will have more non-champions in. Like Jim Miller is going in the Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Someone asked me the other day, and I really like this guy too on Twitter. He was like, okay, you're going to put Cerrone in. Does that mean you're going to put in Jim Miller and Andre Arlovsky? I was like, yeah, they're both going in the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm not a huge Arlovsky fan, but he's going in the Hall of Fame. He's second all time in wins too, I think, or third. He's going in. He's a former champ too. Anyways, I was really, really, really surprised how many people were upset by this. It just doesn't make sense. And it's just sad because, like, Cerrone had a good career, a great career. He put on so many great fights with the fans. Finally gets recognized and people are shitting on his parade, on his big day. It's just pathetic, Marcel. No one can be happy for people anymore. They just want to shit in people when they're successful. There's me another rant on a Monday night, Marcel. Every fucking Monday night I'm going to rant about something. But, like, honestly, guys, like, how could you not think Cerrone's not Hall of Famer, Marcel? I don't get it.
I don't.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Listen, man. The thing is, it's the UFC Hall of Fame, so you got to not just look MMA at it's UFC Hall of Fame, you got to look what they did in the UFC. And Cerrone has been a very important guy for the UFC, always was there, when they called him, can you do this in 3 days notice?
Short notice,
there.
right?
Yeah. Week later, can you come? Yeah, I'm there. He was always there, he was a real company guy, and I know he had that MMA JA or whatever for a short thing with Bjorn and Rapney. Remember that?
What happened to that? GSP, Dillashaw, Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened with that, but hey, whatever, But that's the only time that he really went pretty much against Dana at that moment. But I mean, he's been always a company guy, and how many entertaining fights we have seen Cowboy in. All the time when Cowboy was fighting, I was hyped to see him fight, definitely when he was in his prime, like 3-4 years ago and further back, when he came from the WEC. He's just a great fighter. The thing is, I understand that people think like you put Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, Jens Pulver, and then Cowboy, The only thing that I can understand is that people say, why is Frank Shamrock not in it, And I understand he is on bad terms with the UFC and Dana doesn't like him, blah, blah, blah. But he should be in it, before someone else who hasn't been a champion in my
I'll be honest, he's probably like one of the only snubs right now. Like, they've done a pretty good job with it, I think. Getting the guys that should be in. Like, I don't really understand.
Jim Miller should be in it.
Yet. He's going to go
no, true. But I'm like, when you get him, and it's like you should. What we talked about, man, before. We should have a mainstay wing, for example. Well, you maybe not like a pioneer or whatever, but you deserve to be in that UFC Hall of Fame, and again, it's UFC Hall of Fame. It's not MMA Hall of Fame, because Fedor will be never in the UFC Hall of Fame. We will never see, for example, probably Gina Carano in the UFC Hall of Fame. She was important as well for women MMA back in the day. Definitely in the US, she was the face of women MMA.
I forgot to mention her, but obviously she's. I mean, and the thing is, UFC bought Strikeforce, right? And Elite XC,
so it can happen. Yeah.
Same with Cyborg, actually. Now that I think about it, right? But I don't know if she'll ever get in, although she should be. She's also a former UFC champion. Yeah. Anyways, I think we're on the same page as far as the Cerrone thing goes. Let me get some comments about this. I'll get back to the Holly Holm fight stuff. This was really grinding my gears, and you guys can tell. It's not grateful, dude. Cyborg, 100%. But again, she's still an active fighter, right? So if Cowboy gets in Jim Miller's to me is a lock. I mean, he's got the most wins. I think he has the most finishes. He's going in. There's someone like Cory deserves to get 100%, 100%. 100%. UFC love Cowboy. Took every fight fought from peanuts. He's not wrong. When he fought Connor, I think he got paid $200K. It was like the most he ever made. So this is them doing him a solid, right? The guy, Marcel, he gave so much sweat and blood. Yeah. I think about how many. He only joined the UFC in 2011, and he had like, I want to say it was like almost 40 fights in like the last 12 years or whatever. It's a lot of fights, All
right. I remember the first time when I saw Cowboy Cerrone, I think he was dating Brittany Palmer.
Yeah, I know for sure. I met Brittany once. She actually came to I used to work at the Score, like 2011. She came in once when UFC had, it was the Machida Jones card. So they brought her in, and you guys are going to laugh. I'll tell you the story. So she comes in, and like all the guys, they're all like a bunch of nerds, like typing about like football, and like I'm the MMA guy, right? She comes in, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Brittany Palmer. Dude, she looked great. I mean, she's a smoke show, right? Especially 10 years ago, Marcel. I mean, like, wow. So I'm like, you know what? Let me shoot my shot with Brittany Palmer. So I was like, hey, Brittany, how's it going? Like, big fan of yours. I'm like, without you, like, I would have no idea what round it is. So I really appreciate the job.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude, she started laughing and she's like, oh man, she's like, that's so funny. Like, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, madam, nice to meet you, right? And then my boss was like, dude, did you just like try to like, did you just talk to Brittany Palmer? I'm like, yeah, man, I was joking with her. He's like, dude, he's like, man, she liked that joke. I was like, I don't know, I tried my best. And I was a young guy. I was a good looking guy, Marcel, back in the day. I was a young, skinny guy. Now I'm a big fat guy, so it's a bit different. But I just wanted to tell the story because it was fucking jokes. It's such a good line though, too. I'm like, I have no idea what round it was. She just starts laughing. Get some more comments here. You got our boy Joe here in the chat. What's up, Joe? Hope you're enjoying the laugh here with me. Over was a tricky one. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one because he was a Strikeforce champion. He had a good career, but actually, he'll probably be in one day too. I mean, honestly, these guys were legends. Like, he'll probably be in. Also, he was in Pride. They also have Pride, right? So that's another one. Tony and RDA are both Hall of Famers, especially RDA. I mean, RDA is 100%, I think, going in. Tony's like, I would say like with RDA is 100% for me. Tony's probably like a 90%, but I would imagine it goes in too. What do you think, those two guys?
Yeah, RDA definitely. I think RDA definitely. Tony is.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it as well. I think we're gonna get a huge Hall of Fame.
But that's okay though. I don't think it's
Yeah,
like again. You look at basketball, like all the other sports. Like I get it. Like baseball is very inclusive. They barely induct anyone. But even in baseball, there's some guys in there. Like Harold Baines got in a few years ago. He was just an average player and he got in. So like you do have like a Bonner once in a while. Like let's be honest, Bonner's probably not Hall of Fame, but he had that Hall of Fame fight. Also, it's weird because with Bonner. Okay, so the weird thing is he got inducted in 2013 with Forrest Griffin, okay, on the same night.
Yeah.
That was before the fight wing became a thing. And now if you look at the UFC website, he's not as part of the Hall of Fame roster, but he was for years on that website. I know he was. Now he's just part of that fight. It's really weird because, again, that fight wing wasn't created when him and Forrest went in, which was in 2013. The fight wing got created in 2015. So, little strange because I saw some people talk about, like, Soren's the first non-champion. I'm thinking Bonner was already in, but it's kind of weird what happened there.
Someone asked me, like, why is Mike Goldberg still not in the UFC Hall of Fame?
He should be in it too. John Ank's going to go in it one day. Joe Rogan obviously going to go in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Laura Sanko might go in one day. I'm just like, I know it's early. I'm just saying she's with the company for the next 20, 30 years. She'll be in it, right? Longevity counts, Longevity really counts. Let me get some more comments. Carlos Condit's interesting. I really like Condit, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a 50-50 one for me.
WC champ, interim UFC champ.
Interim champ in UFC, yeah. Possibly. I would say, Marcel, I'm not sure if he's a lock.
He's like the 50-50 guy, yeah.
He's on the bubble. He's like I would say he's like Hall of very good, but he could be in the Hall of Fame. I had to pull over so I could say it's a great line to Brittany. I know, right, man? I should have asked her for a drink after, too. I don't know why I didn't. I was just a bit of a wimp, I guess, whatever it is. Yeah, I think she was dating Cowboy at the time anyways. I got my fucking ass kicked, man. I got some more comments. I think people might be against Cerrone being the Hall of Fame because he lost 10 in his last 15. Yeah, I agree, but, like, so what? He also won, like, 10 of his 50 before that. He had that win streak with guys like Eddie Alvarez. Like, people were saying Eddie's unstoppable. Remember that fight? Like, can't smash the skull, beats him. The guy has a great record. I mean, at the end of his career, you're right, Marcus, he stayed on too long, but so did BJ Penn. I mean, BJ, the end of his career looks like shit too, but no one's going to argue he's not a Hall of Famer. I know it's different. He's a double champ. But even like Maurice Smith, he's in the Hall of Fame. His record sucks. I think he's below 500. Maurice Smith.
I always say on parties where I go, I'm a huge fan of BJ, so yeah.
Maurice Smith, he was a former, I know, but I'm just saying, I got your joke. But he's a former champ, Marcel, and like he should be in. Cerrone, 48 fights, including WC. I mean, I'm guessing that's the most ever, right, Glenn, for between UFC and WC, I imagine. How could he not be in it? Khabib pulled a Cowboy match a couple times back in 2014-15. I mean, Khabib would have just taken him down. I know Cowboy has a great like submission game, but he would have got it wrestled. What's the beef between Dane and Frank? It goes back years and years. I think, yeah, it goes back years and years. Frank was one of the best fighters of all time. I think he gave up his belt after he fought Tito, if I'm not mistaken, Marcel.
Yeah.
He started fighting in, was it Rumble on the Rock or something like that? Or somewhere in Hawaii. Anyways, it was really complicated. That's 20 years ago, history. I agree with Marcel. They should make Hall of Fame more wings. They should have. I agree. They should have like a modern. Well, they do have the modern wing, but as time goes on, you're going to have an even more modern wing.
Smart guy that knocks. I like him.
Yeah. All these guys are smart. I like this guy too. This guy's funny. I like this one. I can go on. What about Benson? I mean, that's He didn't stay in the UFC that long, but he was also a WEC champ. He had one of the best fights of all time with Anthony Pettis. I mean, it's definitely.
And he was a UFC champ.
He was a UFC champ as well. So he's up there. But again, his UFC career didn't last long, and I want to say he defended his title only a couple times. And let's be honest, Marcel, I thought Frankie Edgar beat him in the rematch. I also thought that Gilbert Melendez beat him too, so I think a lot of people feel that way. But yeah, he might go in one day. He's retired now, so.
Gilbert Melendez is another guy.
Oh, shit, another one. That's what I'm saying. Like, the whole thing's going to get big, Marcel.
But the thing is, he only has one win in the UFC.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but he had all those wins in Strikeforce, right?
Yeah, definitely, and in WC as well. So
it's hard to say, but then it's like you put Josh Thompson in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know. Like, right? Probably not. Dane hates, what's it called? Bellator. Anyways, Tony's Hall of Fame worthy. Yeah, I think he might get in, but RDA, you asked, RDA is a lock in my opinion. All right, let me get back to the fight, Marcel. And quickly, there was a question here by Marcus that I forgot. He said, "Who should Cheeto fight next?" Do you have an idea?
Clear. Who? Pretty clear. Piotr Jan.
Oh, he called him out. Yeah, I saw that actually. What am I talking about? Sure. Why not? Mm-hmm. Individual induction of Diego. I think the whole tough one cast will get in. I think Dana's already said that.
Only if Josh Fabia gets along with him.
Turnbuckle's like gonna start whipping him or whatever, beating with sticks. That was so weird, that video. Yeah, Diego's gonna be in Hall of Fame too. I mean, Dana White loves him, but it might be as part of the cast of Tough One. They might just do it like that because Chris Lieben is another guy. I mean, listen, on paper, no, he's not a Hall of Famer, but like again, Dana White loves that fucking first class guys. Megan O'Leary will be probably. I mean, we're talking about like the commentators and stuff now, but again, as the sport gets bigger, like again, Marcel, you look at other sports. I believe that they do have Hall of Fame wings for like broadcasters and stuff too, right? It's not just the fighters. It's not just like also you have the architects. It's the builders. They call it builders. So like Dana White's going to induct himself in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. I think enough Hall of Fame talk, but it was a really good discussion, guys. I appreciate it.
Are the Fertitas in the Hall of Fame yet?
They're not, but they're going to be, especially Lorenzo, right?
Yeah, Lorenzo definitely should be.
They're going to put Hunter Campbell in one day too, probably, and
Clay Guida,
Sean Shelby. Oh, Clay Guida? I don't know. I mean, Clay's again. I think he was a Strikeforce champ. I'm pretty sure. Tons of fights. I would say no to Guida though. I don't know. He had some great fights, but
I would put him in the mainstay wing, which I created.
Yeah, you created that wing, right? He's again a borderline guy. There's some guys we talk about that are like absolute locks, but there's some guys who are borderline. All right. Let's get back to the fights. Yeah, okay. Holm and Santos. Yeah, this is why I got into the Hall of Fame talk because this fight was kind of boring. Marcel, when I found that first minute of the fight where Yana was pushing her against the fence, I was like, oh my God, we're going to see 50 minutes of this shit.
Yeah, I thought
like, oh, man. And then Holly started taking over. I mean, what's there to say about this fight? Yana Santos is not that good of a fighter. I'm sorry, but she's just an average fighter. And Holly Holm is still one of the better ones. And this was a clear setup fight, Marcel, for Holly to get a win, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. And I think it was competitive the first 2.5, 3 minutes. And then Holly took her down. And the second and third round were clear Holly. So I think... at least I think it was a little bit better than some other Holly fights I saw before. I think she was more active. She did more. Yeah, and many people were upset about her post-fight interview, right? I wasn't.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. So she said, like, it was like, I want you guys to... okay, so let's start off with, I want you guys to clap for my team. And I like that because, like, I don't feel like the coaches do get enough credit in the sport, So I love that, actually. Greg Jackson, say what you want about him, but, like, he is a good coach.
Yeah,
and then she said, my family and friends are here. Applaud for them. And I'm like, okay. That's kind of and then she's like, we need to protect the children or something. And
from sexualization.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with what she said. And it's sad as fuck that that's a controversial take these days to say, protect our kids. I have a 1-year-old daughter, dude. Like, the sick shit I see on Twitter and stuff with these fucking weirdos that they take their kids to these, like, weird fucking places, man, with like sexual, like, and then the way they dress their kids, it's fucking sick, Marcel. So I actually had no problem with what she said, man. And the amount of people that are going on against Holly saying that she's weird and stuff, those people are fucking like closet pedos or something, bro. Like, seriously, because what was wrong with? Tell me what's wrong with what you said. Tell me.
Nothing at all, dude. I fully agreed. I mean, you have those. Listen, man. Like I said, I have nothing against transgender, queer, or whatever.
Oh no, I'd be either. I don't have anything like that. But the sexualization of children is something I'm very against, man.
Yeah, me too, man. I don't think like they should have queer people read to them from books. With the kids on their lap in the school, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Marcel, I think that's a little different. I think than what she's saying, though. Don't you think?
Nah, I think that's part of it. It's really like I feel like how do you say that the thing like what is going on right now is like that certain things go through that shouldn't go through. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, man. There's nothing wrong with knowing that there are a lot more things in the world, you know. But at a certain age, you shouldn't be exposed to it, in my opinion.
I just don't think any kids should really be sitting on any adult's lap that's not their parents. Personally, I don't think it matters what their sexuality is or whatever.
I agree.
I think she's talking more about the way they're dressing kids now and stuff. Like you've seen some of these like ads for clothes and movies and stuff. Like it's
I agree with that as well.
Yeah. Fucking wrong, bro. So
I think they took. Remember when they took like a series down from Netflix where like
something called Cuties or something. It's like a movie. I never saw it, but I know that it was like
Cuties or something. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah,
really creepy and stuff. Like why would you want to watch that shit? I think their kids were like really young kids, like, and they're talking about sex and stuff. I don't even know. I never saw it, but yeah, it's
weird,
really creepy. All right, we get some more comments here, guys. Shit, there's a lot of comments. Bilal and Shafkat, that's next, yeah. Cowboy Dave, Brittany Palmer, bro is definitely Hall of Famer. Yeah, I mean, he already was, but now he definitely is, right? Edith LaBelle is more beautiful. She's with the Cage Warriors president. Yeah, Graham Boylan, I think.
Yeah,
his name is. Oh, I met her once too, actually. She came to Toronto for the they used to have they still do the Fan Expo in Vegas, but they had it in Toronto once. I met like Nick Diaz. Actually, I met Gilbert Melendez. I have a picture of him, which was cool. This is before I was a journalist. This is like 2000.
You should
same year, but it's before I started, writing about it. So I was allowed to take pictures back then. What do you say?
You should show me that one with Gilbert.
I'll check if I can find it. But actually, let me see right now if I can find it. But yeah, I saw Edith was there. Edith is very, very, very good looking woman, and she's also Canadian too. So she gets an extra bonus point in my book. Not that my book matters. Dave, never seen a sport with less history talk with so much Hall of Fame and goats. Yeah, I know what you're saying, David, but like it's something to talk about. But you're right. I know what you're saying. Like baseball's 150 years old, right? Basketball's 100 years old. So I get what you're saying. Crazy Holly's still good at 42. She's like Glover. Yeah, she's really good, man. Still in great shape too. I think it's strange to see adults having an issue with Holm saying protect your children, says Marcus. You have a question if people are mad at Holly for saying that. Bro, they're weirdos, man. Female bantamweight is the weakest division in UFC by far. It's not good. It's really not good. What's up, Jason? Funny something in Preacher's daughter talking about protecting children. Yeah, that's interesting. What's up, Joe? Thanks. We agreed. Let me see if I find these pictures, Marcel.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Let's see here. It's been a long time. Like again, this was now that I am in the MMA media, but like not full time anymore. But it's fine. But I wouldn't take pictures now. But before when I was just a fan, I had no problem doing it. Obviously. Let's see. I got some good pictures, Marcel. You want to see some?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Let's go some good pictures, guys. Kendra Luft's involved with Powers on Dana.
As long as you keep your pants on, I'd like.
Kendra's like a huge UFC fan. She actually follows me on Twitter. I just got to be careful because her timeline's full of like porn, so you got to be careful. You have to like click retweet by accident. I like Kendra though; she's nice. Obviously, who doesn't like her? She's like she has a podcast. I don't know if she still does, but with what's his name, Marquez, right? Julian. So
yeah, with Julie Marquez.
Here's some old pictures, guys. I'll show it to you. Why not? Here's some good ones. Those John Fitch and met him. Look how skinny everyone's back there. Look at that handsome fuck, Marcel. Jesus. John Fitch. That was a good one. Brian Bader. That was awesome. He also, dude, this choke, I swear I thought I was going to pass out, man. That was cool. Okay, who we got? Melvin Clark, Jim Miller. It's bad. That picture was bad. Some of these pictures are. Oh yeah, here's Edith LaBelle. I don't know who this chick is, but she looked hot too. But Edith LaBelle is great. Who else we got? That's my buddy. There's the Strikeforce belt, Marcel. That was Gilbert's belt. And I think there's Kurt Pellegrino. Again, I think I took this from a fucking potato or something. These pictures are terrible. Scott Jorgensen. Yeah, I think I had a BlackBerry back then. Nick Diaz, he was there. Oh, my boy Stitch. Stitch. I have his book, and he signed his book for me. So I have the book signed. I love Stitch, dude. Another guy that there's Ariana. But again, the picture is just so bad, eh? Sam Stout, he was there.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't know if it was my phone or that guy's phone. Oh, there's Gilbert.
There it is.
There it is. Sick, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
Always love Gilbert, yeah.
Chris Lytle, one of my all-time favorite fighters. I mean, if I had to pick for UFC Hall of Fame, he's going in. And Magrinho, Cole Miller. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if the people even listening, like some of these people might not know these guys. There's Pat Barry. Before I knew that. Actually, this is probably before he's dating Rose. To be honest, yeah. These two guys, Skyscraper, I think, and Punkass, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Skyscraper?
Tap out. Yeah, Skyscraper and Punkass.
Yeah, Tap Out guys, which is I don't think they're really affiliated. There's Morrow, but that was before I actually worked with Morrow, and he was a dick. But before that, I loved the guy. I mean, right? But I don't want to talk about him. And there's UFC 120. It was my dad, me. That was Randy Couture and Machida. Anyway, that's a long time ago. I just wanted to show you that. Take a trip through memory lane, Marcel.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. 2011, dude. 23 now. My God, the years go by so quick, guys. The years go by so fast. So enjoy it while you're here. All right. Nate Landwehr defeats Austin Lingo. Submission. We both picked him to win. I mean, no surprise here, right?
Man, I really want to know how training goes between Nate Landwehr and Colby Covington. I really want to know the conversations they have, man.
They're both jokers, man.
Yeah.
I like Nate. He's really come out of the shell. He's won 3 straight fights, by the way, Marcel. It's crazy. Like, I've been so, like, well, I got this fight right, but I've been bad at picking his fights. Like, I remember I picked him. I'm like, oh, he's going to destroy Julian DeRosa, and he gets flying kneed in a minute.
Remember the Klein fight?
Klein, I remember we talked. Marcel, you even said, there's no reason to pick him here. And he fucking destroys the dude. And then Onama, that was a close fight, but he won. And then even the Herbert Burns fight, I think I got that wrong. And then the Elkins fight, he won, but I thought he lost.
Yeah.
He's just a weird guy, but he's looked great lately. That camp, MMA Masters, has been doing great. And,
I hope we see Baeza back soon, man.
I like Carmel Thunder, too. You know, I thought that he won the first round, Marcel, Austin Lingo. So he looked, actually, I think he did on the judges' scorecards, too. On 2 of them, I think. He looked decent, but then he gets submitted. Yeah, I like Nate. Nate wants a top 15 guy. I think they just rebooked the fight with Caceres.
For sure, that's the thing. That's what they should do, I think. Yeah.
Old school photos. Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it really goes back. Some of those guys like Kurt Pellegrino. I wonder if some of these people on the podcast even know who that is, Marcel. Batman was, decent.
They probably know when you say the most memorable loss of him is when Nate Diaz triangled him and flipped the bird double. Yeah, double bird. Yeah.
Classic. All right. Macy Barber defeats Andrea Lee by decision. What was your scorecard?
29-28 Lee.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're on with me on this one. Dude, this is bad. I mean, I know I called it a robbery. Maybe it was a bit of hyperbole, but I was...
Yeah, but you were annoyed with another one that she got close, which shouldn't really be...
Bro, I was shocked when they said 30-27 Barber.
Dan Mergliotta, what the hell, dude?
My scorecard is that. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing, guys. Listen, I'm very well aware what the unified rules say and the scoring criteria. I get it. Effective striking, right? Damage, quote unquote, right? I get that. That is key. But it's also effective grappling too. They're tied at the top, and then it goes to aggression, then octagon control. And those are only used if it's tied, right? If the grappling and the striking's tied. People are forgetting that it's effective grappling. And I'm sorry, Marcel, but she wasn't just lying in her guard, right? She didn't just get a shitty takedown and hold her against the fence. Like, that's not really effective, Yeah. She was in side control. Like, that's effective grappling. That's scoring points. That is winning the round. And I know Macy landed a few more strikes along the way, but I don't think it overrides the amount of effective grappling. It's not just control time, guys. It's not just the control time. I get people say that, but effective grappling is part of the top criteria. And I think when you take someone down and you move into side control and the person can't get up and you're in side control, or you have full mount, or you have back mount or back control, those score points, Marcel. They do. They score points. It's one of the reasons why, remember when Askarov fought Kai Kara-France? He had that back control, right? I think it was the third. Remember that fight, Marcel?
Yeah.
To me, that's the kind of thing, guys, that it can sway around. And in this fight, she had so much side control. That's effective grappling. She should have won the fight. Chris Lee, again, I think had a good scorecard here. But when I heard 30-27, I just assumed Lee won. I was shocked.
Me too.
Barber won the fight. I was completely shocked. You were too, eh?
Yeah, because when I heard 30-27, I think it's then Lee gets it. But there's no way Macy won 3 rounds, in my opinion, And Lee, it was possible for Lee to win. I don't think she won 3, but it was at least possible,
Yep.
Yeah, man. I mean, some people have a lot of luck, and Macy has a lot of luck, dude. I mean, she is 4-0 in the last 4. Should be 2-2 probably. So yeah.
She didn't beat Miranda Maverick either. She didn't.
That was even worse, I think. Actually,
this was pretty bad too. This was pretty bad in my opinion. And I remember I picked Barber. I was pretty confident she would win. I just like seeing the right person get the win. I really do. Andrea Lee has lost 3 split decisions in the UFC. She's 0-3 in split decisions. So.
You know what's a problem with people like scoring, and they are so about damage and stuff. There are certain people on Twitter who act like they are like the chairman of the judging. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Also, listen, man, they don't even inform people correctly, man, with the unified rules. If you look at the update, they don't even inform them. They say grappling doesn't count at all. That's bullshit.
No, it says effective striking, effective grappling. And
yeah, of course. That's bullshit,
Yep. No, I agree. By the way, Andrea Lee, her last fight with Viviane Araújo, she landed a knockdown, right? That's damage. Mm-hmm. She actually landed more significant strikes in that fight. Guess who lost, Marcel? She did. So the judging is just very inconsistent, right? Like, if it was just more consistent, I would get it. But, like, this decision was shit, in my opinion. All right, a couple of comments. Seems like a lot of fighters from Forest have been losing this year. True. I mean, maybe Safe's got too many, people in his roster now. Thought they won. Maybe they just fight something good at. Bad ref, bad judge. Yeah. Maybe Dave was trying to take the heat off that idiot Collazo. He was split in half had Lee, half had Barber. I thought Lee won, man. You guys had Barber, right? I know what you're saying, Marcus, but like I just think like that side control is
we
important.
Can say the same thing for Barber pretty much,
I thought too. Anyways, let's move on to the next fight. Again, I picked Chidi to win. I had him as one of my best bets. I was praying Marcel, but he didn't win this fight. I'm sorry, but he didn't. He lost the first. He didn't do anything for the first 10 minutes. He just stood there doing nothing and got taken down in the first round. Durayev's not that good either. His cardio sucks. Like he's going to lose, Marcel, but it was enough to win this fight. I'm disappointed by Chidi. I just feel like he didn't pull the trigger in this fight. I think because he got knocked out in his last fight, he was a little like hesitant here. I don't know. What do you think?
Thank you, Houston. Durayev. And a boo. They called him.
You had Durayev winning though, right?
No, I had Njokuani.
You did?
I picked him by finish.
No, I'm saying like, who did you score for?
Oh, for Durayev, yeah, for sure.
First 2 rounds, right?
Won. Yeah, definitely. The thing is, like, I expected Njokuani to be more aggressive from the start, and he wasn't. He was pacing himself or something, Yeah. And Durayev actually did well in the first round. I think in the second as well. In the third round, finally, Njokuani did a little bit more, but also not a lot, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And the thing was like, what are you doing, man, Durayev, dude? You're much better in the wrestling department. And he keep staying in front of him. He took a head kick, man, that you heard through the arena, I think, and he keeps standing like there was nothing happened. Worst fight of the card, to be really honest. Worst fight of the card. I said after the fight, can I get 15 minutes of my life back? Not a good fight. I'm happy for Durayev, he got the win, but it wasn't good, I think. And Njokuani looked really bad. And the thing is, like, maybe he's like, after that Rodriguez fight, where he started really well in the first round, got finished in the second round, maybe he's I was like, I have to pace myself a little bit so I don't get gassed out again in the second or third round. So, yeah, maybe that's the thing, but wasn't good, man. We wasn't very eventful, in my opinion.
Let's get some more comments here. Gorilla said he bet on Barber, thought she lost. It's the same with me. Bad judging and scoring for Cheetah was horrible. I'm honestly shocked Cheetah looked. I expect a lot more offense. Agree with Adam. Durayev is not good. I'm fading him. I don't think his cardio is good either. But Cheetah looked terrible in this fight. It was just so bad. All right. Go to the prelims quickly. Oh, yeah, we lost the fight. We should mention that quickly. Your boy, Alex Perez. You talked to him? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, yesterday.
Tell me what he said.
So, yeah, it's like, dude, I actually messaged him right after it got called off, So just like, how are you doing? He's obviously not going to get back because it was right after it. So I messaged Jason about it, Jason House. And he was like, yeah, I don't know exactly as well, because he was like still with Vera on his way to the event center, and Alex was already there, so he didn't know exactly as well. So yeah, he had a seizure, like he said on social media. And I asked him like, how are you doing? He's like, I'm back now at home, where I think he lives in Lemoore, California, so he was back home, and he's like, yeah, it's like I have to rest and take my rest and have to wait. We're gonna do some more. How do you say that? Tests, yeah, and we'll have to wait what's happened. So he's like, I don't know what's up, but we'll have to wait. So I asked him like, do you actually read comments on Instagram and Twitter? He's like, yeah, I do. I saw people saying I'm scared. He's like, dude, I have over 30 fights. I fought for titles. It's like, how I'm scared, doesn't make sense, but I don't care about it. The people have opinions. They can say whatever they want. I'm not even going to block people. They can say whatever they want. They have freedom of speech, So he's not concerned by it. But man, I was kind of disappointed in Manel Kaap's reaction. What he said. I mean, Manel, good fighter, but come on, dude. I understand you're upset.
It was kind of lame too. I mean, your opponent he had a seizure.
Yeah. Also, he said like you have spies in my camp or something. It's like really weird during the weigh-in.
I get that he's frustrated because I think he had a fight last year that fell off too, right? Wasn't there a fight? I think in Singapore.
Yeah, right? Bontorin. Yeah,
Bontorin. That guy missed weight or something. Or he had a weight cut issue.
It's also yeah. I saw pictures.
So let me say this about Perez. I really like the guy. He's a good fighter.
Me too.
But here's a fact. The fact is he has 9 fights in the UFC and 12 canceled fights. Okay.
But not all due to his fault.
That's true. I agree with that too. It just seems like there's like bad mojo or something right around this guy Marcel. Like you signed to fight him, you probably don't end up fighting. I mean, that's just the truth. I know he says it's not weight cut related, but I mean, I think he does cut a lot of weight. I mean, I saw him on the scale; he looked like he cut a lot of weight, and you know, we don't know everything about weight cutting. And I'm not a doctor. Trust me, if I was a doctor, I would be doing this. But I mean, I think it would have to play some sort of factor where so dehydrating himself that much, and then putting in back all that mass on the next day with I think it might have affected him. But either way, because it wasn't just like a weight cutting thing and it was like a serious medical issue, I would hope he gets one more fight. But I don't know, Marcel. Do you think they would release him? What do you think? Was it a bad look, or do you think they give him another chance?
He said UFC really took good care of him on Saturday. So I don't know, man. It's the thing. Like it depends. I think it really depends on what they find. That's pretty much how it is. If it becomes a weight cut issue, which is possible. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not Kevin Aioli. So just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. We have to wait for it. I just hope that that he'll be healthy. Because besides that, I really like to do it. It's one of the most nice guys I've met in MMA community.
Yeah, I know you really like the guy.
Yeah. Besides that, I just never hope for anyone going bad health. So I always hope for good health.
Could he fight at 135? Is that possible?
He fought at 135 in the UFC when the UFC was cutting all the flyweights. Remember when they wanted to stop the division? He went to 135. Very smart, by the way, because they kept him there. When they went reloaded like 125, he went back to 125.
Like Dustin Ortiz got cut in some of those guys. Yeah, I remember that. Right?
Yeah, Mateus Nicolau.
Yeah, and what's his name? Moreno got
Moreno as well. Yeah,
with LFA. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Anyways, I feel bad for the dude. I mean, because of the seizure, but like it's a lot of canceled fights. Yeah, it's crazy right after that fake fight. All right, let me go to some other. We'll go through the prelims kind of quick here, Marcel. I guess Daniel Pineda gets the win over Tucker Lutz. Looked great. A guy that I honestly have a hard time picking his fights. Like I haven't been good. I think since he's come back to the UFC. I think I got the Cub one right, and the other ones, the Herbert Burns fight in this one. Like I don't think I picked him. So he's been kind of a tough guy to bet on over the years. Lucas Alexander looked great in his fight against Steven Peterson. He was tired. Steven Peterson didn't look good in this fight. Something was off, and as soon as the fight was over, he put his gloves down. Maybe he had like an injury or something. He just didn't fight with any aggressive, right?
Yeah, but still, shout out to Steven Peterson, man. I mean,
future UFC Hall of Famer.
He's not the future Hall of Famer, obviously, no. But man, we can say whatever we want about Steven, but he always comes to scrap. He had that great fight in the Contender Series with Brandon Davis. Remember the Julian Erosa fight last year was like, in my opinion, top 10 fights of 2022. Was really good. Dude comes to and that crazy spinning back elbow knockout against Martin Bravo. Remember that one? Was also crazy. So he had some fun fights. He's just not like a top 15 guy, but he's a really fun guy to watch. And I wish him nothing but the best, dude.
He had 7 fights in the UFC. He won bonuses in 3 of the fights. I mean, that's not a bad ratio, when you think about it. A couple other fights here. Trevin Giles defeats Preston Parsons. This fight also, I think, could be like one of the that one and Jaquani Derev. This fight wasn't that exciting. I don't know, Giles just doesn't do it for me, Marcel. I got to be honest. This guy, I don't really enjoy watching him fight. I mean, he got the win. I did think he barely won the fight, but it was like so close. Like, could have went either way. CJ Vergara and Daniel Lacerda, we'll talk about this one quickly. I mean, amazing fight. One fight of the night, well-deserved. First round, 2 knockdowns for Lacerda. Looked like Vergara was out on his feet multiple times. A lot of people saying Jason Herzog should have stopped the fight, but it looked like a good decision, right, when he came back and destroyed the dude in the second round. Lacerda 0-4 now in the UFC, but Marcel, you have to give him another fight, don't you?
You didn't say that last week.
I know you're right. I need to say in the future, if the guy puts on fight of the night, I mean that's right. I can change it. I think they'll give him one more, Marcel. I think they will.
I got to break in here, man. The first round, 2 of the 3 judges give that round a 10-9. And those were again 2 local Texan judges there. Like, get the fuck out.
2 knockdowns, dude.
Yeah, but besides that, Jason Herzog, listen, it wouldn't have affected the fight, I think, but Jason Herzog should have taken a point from CJ Vergara.
What do you know for timidity? For running?
Yeah, for running away and timidity. And listen, that Lacerda is stupid enough to run after him and gas him out completely himself. That's on him. But Herzog should have taken a point there, or at least give a warning, a strong warning, and if it happens again, take a point. And then after. And possibly CJ Vergara still finishes him with via TK in the second round. Yeah. But that's what Herzog should have done, That's what, in my opinion, But because that was worse than what Conor did, than what Alistair Overeem did, or what Israel Adesanya did. So, but hey, great comeback for Vergara, man. I mean, the dude was pretty much out of it in the first round. Great comeback in front of his home crowd. Very cool for him, And I was happy I was sad for Lacerda da Silva. I don't know. They should change his name the whole damn time. Yeah. But I still think this guy is really fun to watch, and I think he has the quality. But his gas tank is ass. That's the stuff. And he got to fix that. If he doesn't fix that, he's just a one round.
I don't know if he can fix it. I'll be honest. Some fighters just can't.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was going to say, by the way, like the Texas fighters did okay in the prelims. Like Vergara won. Giles won, Pineda won, obviously Pearson lost, but on the main card you had Njokuani, who's born in Texas, he lost. Lee, who's a Texas, I think she trains there now, if I'm not mistaken, she lost, and then Lingo lost. So the main card they didn't do good on.
Were you disappointed in Salvador?
Oh yeah, that fight, like last fight. Sorry. Yeah, it was a close fight, Marcel. I thought it was close. I actually wasn't sure what the judges would score. They all gave it to Altamirano. That's fine. I mean, it's a good scorecard.
I think I think it was 1-1 going into the third, and Altamirano just did smart with his wrestling. Took him down, controlled him.
His grappling surprised me, Marcel. It did in this fight, and he won the fight because of the grappling.
What did you think about the R9 cut from Salvador?
Oh, the haircut with like
the R9 cut, Ronaldo cut.
Oh yeah, it looked like the barber just forgot to do the front part of his hair. By the way, I said KGB's tech. She wears that cowboy hat, but she's Louisianan. She's from Louisiana. No, I said that.
Every cowboy's from Texas,
right? I know, right? All right, get a couple more comments, guys. Oh yeah, let me just ask you before I get the last comments. Anything else from this card you want to say? Anything else?
No, I kind of agree with the fight of the night. I agree with the bonuses. So yeah,
it gave all the finishes bonuses on this card. There wasn't many, right? There was
just 2, right?
6. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 decisions and 3 finishes, and all the finishes.
Who didn't get a bonus then?
No, everyone did. Everyone did because it's fight of the night and then 2 performance. So
that's yeah, of course, yeah.
Cool. Okay, let me get some comments here, guys, and then we'll do Bellator and PFL quick. All right, Perez weighed in. They have fight day at 146 California in 2018, so he cuts 20 plus pounds to make 125. Yeah, that's a lot of weight to cut, man. Pierce said in the interview he felt off, didn't have it anymore. He looked bad. He just, when I was watching the fight, I'm like, man, this guy just is not the same guy. Marcel, I knew after the first round he was going to lose the fight. I just knew it. I was like, fuck, I got this pick wrong. And actually, that was one last week. I was like, this is kind of a wild card. Remember I was saying, I'm like, because you don't know a lot about this guy, Lucas Alexander. He's not bad, Marcel. We kind of skipped over his fight, but he's actually not bad at prospect, I don't think. Yeah, Lee is out, guys. Lee is out of the fight with Chiesa. I liked Lee in that fight as an underdog. Were you going to pick him or were you going to pick Chiesa? Do you know?
I didn't know yet.
I was going to pick Lee. I thought he could have pieced him up. I got his takedown defense isn't great, but kept the standing was going to win. Parsons won. Oh, you thought Parsons won? Maybe. I mean, it was close, right?
Possible.
It was super close. Yeah,
definitely possible.
No one's going to complain. Favorite April main event. I mean, it's got to be Izzy and Pereira too, right? Although I love Holloway and Allen.
I love Tsaruki and against.
Some good fights next month.
And I love Pavlovich Blades as well. So
good fucking fights next month. Yeah, who should have been next for Gamera? I think was it Gaethje? Was it no, not Gaethje? Yeah, Gaethje, right? Did he call him out? I thought Gaethje called him out or something. No, wrong. Sorry, not Gaethje. Who was it? Someone called him out. I can't remember who it was now. You know who it was? Someone called him out. Anyways, I can't remember. It wasn't Gaethje. Gaethje called out Poirier. Not only is Carlos asked Marcel's fight accusing the Graves. Yeah, but he's a fun guy to watch. All right, that's going to be it for UFC San Antonio. Marcel, again, a tear always comes down my face when we end these cards, man. We stop talking about them, they move on to the annals of history, and that's it. But it was a good event. It's too bad some of those fights got canceled. We also had that Cowan and Vidal fight got canceled too, so lost 2 fights. All right, let's do Bellator 293, Marcel. We'll go through kind of quick. I'll pull it up on the screen here.
Yeah, the prelims are better than the main card.
Yeah, one sec. Let me pull it up here. The main event, guys. I mean, I don't want to hate on these dudes because they actually had good fights the last fight, but this is not really a main event worthy fight. Golem and James, right? When these guys are in your top 10, Marcel, your heavyweight division is probably not that good. Odds for this one. The odds just came out. Marcelo Gomes minus 150, plus 125 on Daniel James. What do you think?
I mean, I go with the guy with the most beautiful first name. It's Brazilian Marcelo Gomes. Listen, man, I have problems with picking a guy over 40. You know, I agree with you there. You know, and with Gomes has actually done pretty well since he left the UFC. You know, so and he got that good one over Devion Franklin last time. Yeah, I'm picking him, man. I'm picking him.
You know, I like this dude, Daniel James, but he's 41. I don't know how I pick him here, right? He looked good in his last fight, I thought, like the second round anyways, that finished his opponent gassed. I don't know. I mean, he actually has a lot of experience, like fighting in Russia. He had some good fighters, too.
Yeah, true.
Like Pisot was UFC, Martinic was on Contender.
Smolderov was pretty
Ruslan Magomedov used to be in UFC.
Chris Beal. Chris Beal.
This is different Chris Beal. It's not the not the bantamweight. This is a heavyweight version.
Yeah.
TikTok boom. That's not that flyweight guy that flying knee all those years ago. TikTok boom. That's a song by the Hives. You know them, the Hives? They're a band. You know them?
No.
Oh, they're a great band, man. They're awesome. They're from Sweden, I believe. Really good band. Marcelo Gomes probably wins the fight, I would guess. All right. Zingano, Leia McCourt. I mean, what do you make about Zingano these days? By the way, the odds for this one, minus 400 on Zingano, plus 300 on Leia McCourt. Marcel, do you have to take a shot on Leia McCourt at plus 300? I think you kind of do, man. What do you think?
This should be much closer, in my opinion.
How is it minus 400? She doesn't even fight that often anymore.
I think if you look at Leia McCourt's last fights, that's the thing, you know. Leia McCourt's last fight, I didn't think she won against Diana.
No, I agree. I agree.
The Sinead Kavanaugh, she looked, Sinead O'Connor's the singer. She looked really bad, in my opinion, you know. So, and she won against the partial porn star, but I mean,
Jessica Borga?
Yeah. So, I mean, what can you do?
She does have that win on Furo, although, you know, we don't think she won. I don't know. These odds just seem heavy. Like, Zingano barely fights anymore. I don't think she's looked good in Bellator at all. This fight of Olivia, or not this one, Gabriel Holloway, looked like absolute shit in that fight. She signed in Bellator 3 years ago and has 3 fights. Or 4 years ago.
And she doesn't fight anymore. And she can fight Cyborg all the time, man. Cyborg's wins. She's like, no, I don't get it off for this. Like, really weird. You know,
I don't believe that either. I really don't. And you know, the crazy thing is, like, again, 10 years ago, she was beating Tate and Nunes. Like, and she was favored to beat Amanda Nunes. I remember that. I actually bet on her in that fight. Parlayed her with Connor. Connor fought Dustin. Crazy, right?
Gotta cut her some slack, man. I think the moment she went a little bit off on her record.
Her husband killed himself?
Yeah.
For sure. And that's why I think a lot of people do have sympathy for her. I'm just saying, like, I got to look at it, you know, from the odds perspective here, Marcel. I just don't buy her as a minus 400 favorite.
I agree.
And I would definitely consider putting a small bet on the court. Nothing crazy, but
I would stay away from that fight.
Yeah, stay away. Yeah. Oh,
the next one is
this question. Marcus always asked this. Sorry, I just forgot to answer this.
Cheeto?
Yeah, probably Cheeto. Yeah, and then Jukwani too. I think he looked bad personally. So I think those two guys. Like, I don't think, like, Andrea Lee lost, but I don't think her stock went down. You know what I mean? For instance. So also that Tucker Lutz guy looked bad. I mean, maybe him, but no one really cared what he means, to be honest. His guess to stay in the card. I hope so. All right, a couple other fights here. John Salter, Aaron Jeffrey.
It's actually the best fight, in my opinion.
This is a good fight. Aaron Jeffrey's minus 325, John Salter plus 250. Again, I feel like the odds are a little bit heavy. And I'm a big Aaron Jeffrey fan, you know, Canadian and
really I'm picking Jeffrey, dude.
Pardon?
I'm picking Jeffrey.
I mean, he's the favorite, though. Like, I'm saying, like, he should be favored, but the odds are a little bit heavy. John Salter's a good fighter, man.
Yeah, for sure. He only lost to the champions, right? And then Musashi,
Lovato Jr. And he was in the UFC years ago, and people forget that.
I remember that.
He had 2 fights. He beat, or 3 fights. He beat Jason McDonald. That was in Montreal, like an injury. And the other 2 fights, he got finished, and that's why they cut him. But, I mean, I don't really feel he got a fair shake either.
I agree.
I mean? So, anyways, he's not a great fighter, but he's not bad. He's improved over the years. But yeah, Aaron Jeffrey wins, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure he wins. So, I mean, the odds, again, they do seem a little heavy, but at the same time, like, we're both picking him. So, just saying, like, he's been, you know, grapplers have given him issues. Remember the Barala fight, and then even Brendan Allen, Marcel. So, you know, he's not the best grappler. His striking's good. He's a good fighter, but John Salter's got good grappling, man.
I mean, if you look at how bad opponents get at Dana White Contender Series, and Jeffrey had to fight Brendan Allen and Caio Borralho, dude.
That's brutal. That's fucking brutal. Both those guys are good. There's no doubt. Sign Collectibles up, man. He thinks Salter's close to the end of the career. I mean, if he gets finished, maybe he would consider retiring, but think he's got a few fights left. Just Bellator's middleweight division is not very stacked. Former UFC fighter Rustem Kabalov, excuse me, he makes his I think it's his Bellator debut, right? Taking on Jalil Willis. Yeah, it is. He hasn't fought in 4 years, Marcel. He had that. Remember that fight with Masvidal all these years ago? That slam he had. Remember that? That was insane. Or sorry, it was Vince Pichel. Excuse me, Vince Pichel.
Yeah, it was Pichel.
Insane. He had that. He actually, I think the fight with Masvidal was fighting
multiple slams.
Yeah, it was
fighting. Suplex City.
Suplex City. That was crazy. I think he had a good career in the UFC. I think he wins this fight. Jalil Willis is decent, but nothing special. And I'm a little bit surprised that Rustem's the underdog here. I know he hasn't fought in 4 years, guys, but like he's got way more experience in entire level competition. Like Jalil Willis is a good fighter.
Yeah,
like he's a guy that the UFC maybe shouldn't have passed on because he was I think LFA did really well for the most part. Like not great, but I don't know, Marcel. I kind of like Kabalov as a dog here, right? I know the layoff. I hate that, but I just think he's the better fighter too. What do you think, man?
I agree with you, man. I also pick Kabalov here, man. I think Jalil Willis is a good fighter, but I think the wrestling will be the key for Kabalov probably.
I'm just surprised he's the underdog. Like I guess it's because of the layoff. I would assume, right?
Yeah,
it's surprising. A couple other fights here. This Luke Trainer guy, didn't he lose his last fight? I want to say, or no, it was 2 fights ago where you lost that fight. He was a big favorite and lost. Yeah, he bounced back with a mismatch, right? Minus 700. Yeah, he's always a big favorite. They like him, obviously. I mean, I would imagine he beats this Collie guy, right? Although he's
I think Collie wins.
You think he wins? Okay, let me check the odds. Let me check. Maybe I'm speaking. Yeah, no, sorry. Collie's the favorite here. He's I just
he's Ryan Bader's dude.
Yeah, I got confused with someone else. My mistake, guys. I mean, he's looked good. Like you look at his record, he's been destroying dudes. So
the only thing
they're giving up on Trainer, then I guess. Like, are they giving up on him?
I don't know, but the only thing I have here is never been out of the first round in his pro career. So what happens if he gets out of the first round? I
mean, the same thing happened to Trainer in his last fight, right? For the most part. I mean, most of his fights went, first round. Then he goes late and gets finished, or not finished. He lost the decision, gassed out. A couple other fights here. Adam Piccolotti taking on Mandonello. The what's his Rat Garbage.
Rat Garbage. Yeah.
It's a weird nickname. His haircut is a little strange, but he's a good fighter. Archie Colgan, he's a good prospect, Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Lucas
not
Brown.
Jacob, Justin Montalvo. I don't think they're related. Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
No, they're not related. Joey Davis, another wrestler, undefeated guy. Lucas Brennan, Marcel, another easy fight. Let me check what his odds are. Lucas Brennan. Okay, hold on. Let me look at the odds for these guys.
I say minus 1,500, I say.
Minus 900.
Okay.
Minus 700 Joey Davis. So these guys are just massive favorites. I mean, again, once in a while they do lose them. Where's that guy that lost? What's his name, Marcel?
Cody Law.
Yeah, there's some other ones too in the prelims here, like this Bryce Meredith guy is minus 1,500.
Okay.
Christian Edwards.
Oh yeah, that's the NCAA wrestler. The Meredith guy.
The prelims aren't bad. This is a good
Maria Henderson on it.
Yeah, that's Benson Henderson's wife.
Yeah.
Her odds minus 170. She's favorite, so it's a smaller favorite here.
What's the first fight actually?
Yeah, there's some. No, the prelims are decent.
What's the first fight?
That's the first fight.
Oh, that's.
Oh no, there isn't a first fight listed. That's weird.
Okay.
You got to fix that, Marcel. That's weird.
That's not my.
Unless something fell. I guess maybe this fight fell off.
Conry Gracie against David Pacheco. Yeah.
Right. Anyways, the card looks pretty good. All right. Last thing we want to talk about here, Marcel. Oh, there's a comment here. Collie, he's a big favorite. I guess not confused with someone else. He's and you look at the record, right? I guess Bellator's giving up on Trainer though. I mean, that's a little surprising because he's still young, but I guess they just. I don't know. I would assume they are kind of Marcel because that's a hard fight, right? Against the guy who's like Ryan Bader's apprentice, I guess. All right, Marcel, let's go to the next fight here, or next card, I should say. We're going to do PFL 2023 Week 1. Let's just talk about this card, Marcel, a little bit. Let me pull it up here, guys. Last thing we'll talk about this, and then we'll do a short podcast just doing some fight announcements. That'll real quick. All right, Marcel, give me your thoughts on some of these fights here. You got Brendan Lofton. What's up?
Brandon Lofton against Moraes.
How does he not how does this fight even get made? Moraes is getting destroyed in every fight, getting brutally knocked out, guys. I know the weird thing is, right?
Former champion, yeah.
Yeah, I know, and he was winning the fight with Moraes, and he was beating Merab. He's the only guy that's had success against Merab, But
lately, yeah.
Lately. 5 straight losses by knockout. 6 of his last 7 fights have ended in getting knocked out. He should have lost to Aldo, I thought. He should be on a 7-fight losing skid. You can't pick him here. There's no way. Brandon Lofton knocks him out. Brandon Lofton's minus 650. He knocks him out. Agreed?
UFC really missed on Brandon Lofton, in my opinion, but yeah.
He's good. And, I feel like Dana White, that the whole argument of going for a takedown is just stupid. Like, it was just dumb. They didn't like him for whatever reason, and he's done well. And he won $1 million, Marcel. He wouldn't have made it at the UFC.
I'm very happy for the dude. Yeah,
it worked out great for him. So yeah, and Sandhagen was just talking about Zingano minus 150. I mean, it's different than minus 400, right? I mean, that's just a different argument to make. Rob Wilkinson taking on Thiago Santos. I like this fight, man. Right now, Rob Wilkinson's favored. He is minus 185. Thiago Santos plus 155. Okay.
I mean,
I love the fight. Go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts.
Bro, Rob Wilkinson, another guy who went 0-2 in the UFC, losing to Adesanya and Bahadur Zada, got cut, and he won every other fight.
He's a really good fighter. Look how many wins he's had in a row now, too, eh?
Yeah.
He looked amazing against Akhmadov. He looked amazing against Monch, Pesta, like Soto, Brucey Soto. Like, he's good. He's a really good fighter. But you look at the level of competition, Marcel. Thiago, I get it, guys. He's 39. He's getting up there in age, right? And he's got a bit of a losing skid. But here's the thing: you got to look a bit closer, right? He arguably beat John Jones. He did beat Jan Blachowicz. He knocked down Glover, and then he got tired and got finished. It's not a bad loss. That Rakic fight, it was close, very close. Rakic barely beat him. It was a bad
Hill fight was close as well.
And which one? Which fight?
The Hill fight.
He was beat. I checked the scorecards today. He was winning 29-28, 2 of the scorecards. And then got finished late. And then Magomed Ankalaev, I think that fight, he knocked him down in that fight, actually.
Yeah, he knocked him down. Yeah,
he lost, but he knocked him down. So he still got power,
fight,
and the Walker fight was awful, but he won. I just feel like he's kind of getting a little bit forgotten about here in the odds. I don't know, Marcel. Like, I like Rob Wilkinson. Like, he actually opened at minus 300. Okay, so people are betting on Thiago Santos. I don't blame them. Marcel. I think this fight is a little bit closer than these odds are saying. I don't know. I'm guessing you're picking Wilkinson. I get it. He's on a win streak. He's younger, but Santos is a good fucking fighter still. Like, I'm not buying that he's shot, man. Had someone on Twitter said to me today, because he's a shot fighter, I'm not buying it, Marcel. He was beating Hill, who's the champ, before he got finished. He was winning that fight. What happens if he takes Wilkinson down? Can Wilkinson get up? Like, I don't know. I mean, he's got good grappling, underrated grappling, in my opinion. I don't know. We'll see. All right, a couple other fights here on this card. Krzysztof Jotko against Will Fleury.
Fucking Will Fleury.
Yeah.
That's his nickname, right?
Is it really?
Yeah, look at
What does it say?
Oh, they took it away. That's his nickname.
Jotko should win, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
minus 450. I just checked the odds. He's a huge favorite. Yeah, okay. He should win. He's it's kind of like watching paint dry with Jotko. He's not exciting, Marcel, but he's not exciting. I mean, let's be honest. But he knows how to win fights. The killer, Mavid Kabuliev against Ryo Jokudo. I mean, Kabuliev should win. He's minus 650. He's going to win, right?
Yeah.
Chris Wade against Bubba Jenkins. Very interesting fight. Isn't this a rematch, I want to say? Haven't they fought before?
Yeah, I think they did, actually.
Yeah, they fought in 2021. Yeah. I know Bubba looked a lot better last year, but Chris Wade, I think, is the better fighter. I'm going to Chris Wade. He's minus 180. You think he wins, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Chris Wade, man. I still think he's pretty legit. Yeah.
Martin Hamlin against Mohamed Fakhreddin. You like this guy, right? I think you know.
Fakhreddinov is a good guy, man. He fought in Brave before. Yeah. I think he has a loss actually on his record against Andre Muniz. If that's correct, you should check.
Asmat Mirzakhanov knocked him
out. I mean, Mirzakhanov. It was Mirzakhanov.
Yeah. And this guy Al Sawali, who I know you like too. It's a pick 'em fight, minus 115 each. I'm not sure about Martin Hamlin. I'm not I don't think he's great. I mean, he's won some fights. He has more experience in PFL, but not sure about this one, guys. I definitely don't really have a strong lead in this fight. Were you taking Muhammad?
I would take Muhammad in this one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em fight. Josh Silvera's huge favorite against Sam Key. I mean, Josh Silvera wins the fight, minus 500. He wins. Alejandro Flores against Daniel Torres. Torres minus 240. That seems high, isn't it? Isn't that a little bit high? I don't. Oh, he's a KSW guy. I don't really know him too well. Do you know this guy?
Not really.
How is he such a big favorite? I'm a little surprised. Flores is, pretty experienced. He's fought good fighters like in PFL and in Kombache. Almost all his fights are Kombache. I don't know what the odds are in this one, man. It's a little weird to me. Flores is plus 190. I mean, I would lean dog. This fight's interesting too. I think they're both former UFC fighters, right? Sung Bin Jo. Didn't he fight Peter Yan? Is that the guy?
No, that's the other guy. He fought.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Daniel Tamer.
Yeah.
He went one in. I think it went fight of the night, right? No, it didn't. Okay, never mind. But he only had one fight and they cut him. Like it's kind of.
You were thinking about Jinsu Swan, I think.
That's what I'm thinking about. And that guy, I don't know what happened to him. He disappeared. Like he actually had a great fight with Piotr.
He was like the small Korean zombie.
Yeah, Pinedo. He fought twice in the UFC.
UFC as well.
Fight. Yeah, I would lean towards the Jesus a little bit in this fight. I'm guessing you would. I don't know actually. Joe is favored, but I would lean towards Pinedo. I think he's not bad. Yeah, he's a dog. That's a dog we both like. Yeah, Dylan Monch against Ty Flores. Ty Flores contender guy. Dylan Monch, did well in contender last year. Monch is minus 200. Ty Flores showed a good chin. Was it Dustin Jacoby? I think he fought, right? Was it? Yeah, Dustin Jacoby on Tough. Or not Tough contender.
Dustin couldn't get him out of there.
No, he tried everything he could. The guy showed a good chin. I think I got to go with Monch, Marcel.
That first fight is actually crazy.
Go with Monch, or who do you like in this one? I know Monch.
Monch. Yeah.
All right, and then Corey Hendricks and oh shit! I didn't even see this fight. Is this a new fight?
I don't know, but that's crazy.
Oh, because Impa won that. He won that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure about him at 205 because he fought at 170, 185, right? This is a little strange, isn't it? Like a 205 now, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
He was a welterweight 2 years ago. What the fuck? He's looked good though, man. He knocked out Jared Gooden 2 fights ago. Corey Hendricks is a good wrestler, man. He's going to be a lot bigger at soon, right? What do you think, man? The odds for this one, Corey Hendricks, Impa is minus 250. What do you think about Hendricks as a dog? What do you think?
I like Impa actually, but I don't know at this weight. Actually, that's difficulty.
So Corey Hendricks is 2-2 in PFL, and he was a huge underdog. Same odds, plus 250 against Sordy and Hamlet. Sordy actually plus 280. Then he lost to Hamlet, and Hermosi is a dog too. So 2-2 as a dog. I don't know, man. I think he can maybe take him down and hold him there. I mean, he's not a great fighter, but his wrestling's good. So, anyways, all right, let's get some other comments here. Fight against Cherries, his last fight was bad injury. Talking about what's his name? Santos. He just Pinedo. Let's go Peru. Yeah. You guys see Corey's a future champion with all the other guys around the top division? Corey Hendricks or Corey? Oh, Corey
Sandhagen, dude.
Sorry, Anto. I'm just talking about Corey Hendricks. I mean, it's possible, but like the division's pretty tough at the top, man. It just the thing is, it's all about fucking timing right now. And like Corey's kind of in a bad spot, and then he has to wait, right, for these other guys. He's got to wait for Sue. He's probably got to wait for O'Malley. He's going to have to beat Merab. Beats Merab, though. I mean, it's hard to doubt him. Anyways, Marcel, let's end this podcast. We'll do a quick one here, doing some fight announcements, but this is going to be it for this one, Marcel. Guys, follow me on Twitter at @MMAdamMartin. You can follow Marcel, Big Marcel 24. We'll be back next Monday for the next edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast, and we're going to be breaking down UFC 287, Korea Adesanya 2. I cannot wait for that, Marcel. By the way, there's been a lot of pay-per-views lately. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, and we will try to show that clip what we talk about at the beginning.
We'll try. I don't know if we'll get the sound out, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like I said, we'll do a quick one here, Marcel, fight announcements and some news, but that's it. So it'll be a short one, guys. Can you take this last two questions, and then we'll end this. Who's the best Peruvian fighter in your guys' opinion? Shoot. Let me check. I don't know, Mark. So I'm kind of spacing right now. I gotta be honest. Like I have to Google it. Gotta Google. There's one guy in the UFC at least, right?
Peruvian.
Man, isn't there someone? Oh, Barzolo. That's
yeah,
Barzolo. Oh, and Claudio Puelles as well. That's
the guy who was in the UFC.
Probably Puelles. But I don't know. Barzolo's good too, man. He should be in the UFC right now, honestly. Luis Palomino is also Peruvian. Oh, Gaston Polanos is Peruvian as well? Okay, he's fighting.
Yeah, true. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so there's some decent talent there. No doubt. All right, Umar too. I don't believe that tweet, by the way. I think that's Ali talking, saying you got offered Merab. It doesn't make sense. Who would you guys pick in O'Malley, Sandhagen? Pick Sandhagen. I mean, without hesitation, I'd pick him. All right, Marcel, let's end this podcast. We'll start a new one, guys. You can ask us more questions, and we'll do some fight announcements. Talk to you guys in a minute. Peace.